In the vast tapestry of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, few threads are as enigmatic and intricately woven as that of the Alpha Legion. This mysterious Space Marine Legion, the last to be founded during the first founding, has long been a subject of fascination, fear, and speculation among both allies and enemies alike. Their very existence challenges the binary notions of loyalty and treachery that define much of the Imperium's history. The Alpha Legion's story is one of shadows and whispers, of hidden truths and manufactured lies. It is a tale that begins in the crucible of the Great Crusade, winds its way through the treacherous paths of the Horus Heresy, and extends into the dark millennia that followed. To understand the Alpha Legion is to question the very nature of reality in a universe where deception is as potent a weapon as any bolt gun or power sword. Founded under unusual circumstances, the Alpha Legion was from its inception shrouded in secrecy. Unlike their brother legions, whose Primarchs were discovered one by one across the galaxy, the origin of the Alpha Legion's Primarch, or Primarchs as some whisper, remains clouded in mystery. This air of ambiguity would come to define every aspect of their existence, from their tactics on the battlefield to their very place in the grand scheme of the Emperor's vision for humanity. The Legion's motto, "I am Alpharius," is more than just a catchphrase. It is a philosophy that permeates their entire being. Every Legionnaire is Alpharius, and Alpharius is every Legionnaire. This interchangeability, this fluid identity, allows the Alpha Legion to operate with a level of secrecy and efficiency unmatched by any other force in the galaxy. It is a strength that has allowed them to survive and thrive in the shadows, long after their apparent fall from grace. As we delve into the history of the Alpha Legion, we must be prepared to question everything we think we know. The line between truth and falsehood blurs, and what seems certain may be nothing more than an elaborate ruse. Their actions during the Horus Heresy, arguably the most pivotal moment in the Imperium's history, remain a subject of intense debate. Did they truly turn traitor, or was their apparent betrayal part of a deeper, more complex plan? The Alpha Legion's influence extends far beyond the battlefield. They are masters of manipulation, able to orchestrate events on a galactic scale with subtle nudges and carefully placed agents. Whole worlds have fallen not to the thunder of bolters, but to whispered words and unseen hands guiding events from the shadows. This mastery of covert warfare has made them both invaluable allies and terrifying enemies, depending on which side of their inscrutable plans one finds oneself. In the millennia since the Horus Heresy, the Alpha Legion has become a force of chaos, both literally and figuratively. Their actions seem random, their motivations obscure. Yet, those who have studied them closely suspect that there is a grand design behind their apparent madness, a long-term strategy so complex and far-reaching that it defies comprehension. As we explore the history, tactics, and personalities of the Alpha Legion, we must always remember that we may never know the full truth. Every revelation may be a carefully crafted deception, every apparent weakness a hidden strength. The Alpha Legion operates on a level of complexity that turns the galaxy itself into a grand chessboard, with moves and countermoves planned centuries in advance. This is the story of the serpent in the shadows, the hidden blade that strikes when least expected. It is a tale of brothers divided, of loyalty tested to its very limits, and of the fine line between salvation and damnation. As we unravel the mysteries of the Alpha Legion, we invite you to question everything, to look beyond the surface, and to remember that in the grim darkness of the far future, the truth is often the greatest casualty of all. Prepare to enter a world where nothing is as it seems, where every fact is questionable, and where the fate of humanity may rest in the hands of those who appear to be its greatest betrayers. This is the story of the Alpha Legion, the most enigmatic of all the Space Marine legions, whose true nature and ultimate goals remain one of the greatest mysteries in a universe already steeped in enigma and uncertainty. The Alpha Legion's intricate web of influence and deception is woven by a cast of key players, each shrouded in mystery and ambiguity. At the heart of this enigmatic force stand the twin Primarchs, Alpharius and Omegon. Unlike other legions led by a single gene sire, the Alpha Legion boasts two, their very existence a closely guarded secret. This duality forms the cornerstone of the Legion's identity, allowing for unprecedented tactical flexibility and strategic depth. Alpharius, officially recognized as the Legion's Primarch, embodies the public face of the Alpha Legion. His name has become synonymous with the Legion itself, a living embodiment of their creed. Omegon, the hidden twin, operates in the shadows, often disguised as a common legionnaire. Together, they represent the duality of the Alpha Legion's nature, the visible and the hidden, the known and the unknown. The unique leadership structure extends beyond the Primarchs. The Alpha Legion operates through a network of cells, each led by an officer known as a Harrow Master. These individuals possess a level of autonomy rarely seen in other legions, allowing them to adapt swiftly to changing circumstances without compromising overall strategic goals. Harrow Masters often pose as Alpharius himself, further blurring the lines between identity and deception. Within the ranks of the Alpha Legion, certain figures have gained notoriety, though their true identities remain elusive. The operative known as Fokron has been linked to numerous high-profile infiltrations and sabotage operations. Whether Fokron is an individual or a codename used by multiple agents remains a subject of debate among Imperial scholars. Another key player is the enigmatic Serenas, a master of psychological warfare and manipulation. Serenus's influence has been felt across multiple sectors, sowing discord and paranoia among Imperial forces. Some theorize that Serenas might be an alias used by Omegon himself, though concrete evidence remains elusive. The Alpha Legion's reach extends far beyond its own ranks. They cultivate an extensive network of human agents known as operatives or sleeper cells. These individuals, often unaware of their true allegiance, occupy positions throughout Imperial society, from lowly clerks to high-ranking officials. This vast web of influence allows the Alpha Legion to gather intelligence and exert control on an unprecedented scale. Among these human agents, the figure known only as the Voice stands out. This individual, whose true identity remains unknown, serves as a crucial link between the Legion and its vast network of operatives. The Voice's ability to coordinate complex operations across vast distances has baffled Imperial intelligence agencies for millennia. The Alpha Legion's adversaries play a crucial role in their story. Chief among them is the Inquisition, particularly the Ordo Malleus, tasked with rooting out chaos influence within the Imperium. Inquisitor Craven, a veteran of numerous encounters with the Alpha Legion, has become one of their most persistent foes. His obsessive pursuit of the Legion has led some to question whether he himself has fallen under their influence. Within the ranks of the Adeptus Mechanicus, Archmagos Vialik stands as a key player in the ongoing struggle against Alpha Legion infiltration. Vialik's development of advanced cogitator algorithms designed to detect Alpha Legion activity has made him both a valuable asset to the Imperium and a prime target for elimination. The Alpha Legion's complex relationship with other Chaos forces adds another layer to their intricate web of alliances and enmities. While nominally aligned with the forces of Chaos, their true loyalties remain questionable. This ambiguity is personified in figures like Lord Arcos, a Chaos Lord who claims Alpha Legion heritage, but whose actions often seem to undermine Chaos operations. On the fringes of known space, the pirate lord Caleb Krail has become an unwitting pawn in Alpha Legion machinations. His raids on Imperial shipping lanes, while seemingly random, often align suspiciously well with Alpha Legion's strategic objectives. The Eldar, with their own mastery of deception and long-term planning, view the Alpha Legion with a mixture of respect and wariness. Farseer Elaric of Craftworld Ulthwé has dedicated centuries to unraveling the Legion's future actions, her prophecies often providing the only warning of impending Alpha Legion operations. Within the Imperium itself, Lord General Makaroth of the Astra Militarum has gained a reputation for his ability to anticipate and counter Alpha Legion strategies. His successes have made him a hero to some and a suspected deep cover agent to others, highlighting the paranoia that the Alpha Legion's mere existence engenders. The web of key players in the Alpha Legion saga extends in all directions, touching every aspect of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. From the highest echelons of Imperial power to the darkest corners of the galaxy, their influence is felt, their presence suspected, and their true motives endlessly debated. In this grand game of shadows and whispers, every individual could be a pawn or a player, an unwitting tool or a master manipulator. The true extent of the Alpha Legion's reach may never be known, but its impact on the fate of the galaxy is undeniable. The roots of the Alpha Legion's enigmatic nature trace back to the tumultuous era of the Great Crusade. Unlike their brother legions, whose origins were well documented and celebrated, the Alpha Legion's inception was shrouded in secrecy from the outset. This air of mystery, far from being a hindrance, became their greatest strength and the foundation upon which their future operations would be built. The discovery of Alfarius, the Legion's Primarch, diverged significantly from the pattern established by his brothers. While most Primarchs were found as children or young adults, Alfarius was reportedly discovered fully grown and highly capable. This unusual circumstance fueled speculation and theories about his true origins, a trend that would come to define the Legion as a whole. The Emperor's decision to keep the existence of Omegon, Alfarius's twin, a closely guarded secret set the stage for the Legion's future modus operandi. This duality at the highest level of command instilled in the Alpha Legion a unique perspective on identity and leadership. The concept that anyone could be Alfarius became more than a tactical ploy. It evolved into a philosophical cornerstone of their existence. During the early years of the Great Crusade, the Alpha Legion operated in the shadows of their more renowned brothers. This relative obscurity allowed them to develop and refine their distinctive approach to warfare. While other legions sought glory in open battle, the Alpha Legion specialized in subterfuge, infiltration, and psychological warfare. Their campaigns often concluded before the enemy even realized they were under attack. The Legion's obsession with efficiency and perfectionism stemmed from a desire to prove their worth to the Emperor and their brother legions. This drive led them to adopt increasingly complex and elaborate strategies, often involving long-term planning and the manipulation of multiple factions. Their successes, though less heralded than those of other legions, were no less impactful on the expansion of the Imperium. As the Great Crusade progressed, the Alpha Legion's methods began to draw both admiration and suspicion from their fellow Astartes. Their ability to achieve victory with minimal casualties and collateral damage was praised by some, while others questioned the honor in such clandestine tactics. This growing divide foreshadowed the Legion's future isolation and the suspicion with which they would be regarded. The Legion's interactions with human populations during compliance actions set them apart from their peers. Rather than relying solely on military might, they often employed subtle manipulation of local politics and culture to bring worlds into the imperial fold. This approach, while effective, raised ethical questions about the nature of free will and the true meaning of loyalty. As the Horus heresy loomed on the horizon, the Alpha Legion found itself in a unique position. Their secretive nature and complex web of informants provided them with a clearer picture of the growing discontent within the Imperium than most of their brother legions enjoyed. This knowledge, however, proved to be a double-edged sword, forcing them to confront difficult questions about loyalty, duty, and the future of humanity. The fateful encounter with the Cabal, a Xenos organization claiming to possess knowledge of future events, served as a catalyst for the Alpha Legion's most controversial decisions. The information provided by the Cabal presented Alfarius and Omegon with a terrible choice: support Horus and ensure humanity's eventual extinction, or oppose him and condemn the galaxy to eternal suffering under the rule of chaos. This revelation challenged the very core of the Alpha Legion's loyalty to the Emperor and their understanding of their role in the grand scheme of the universe. The twins' decision to seemingly side with Horus was not born of treachery or ambition, but of a complex calculus involving the fate of humanity and the galaxy at large. The Alpha Legion's actions in the lead-up to the heresy were characterized by increasing isolation from their fellow legions. They intensified their intelligence-gathering operations, placing agents in key positions throughout the Imperium and even within other legions. This preparation, ostensibly for their role in the coming conflict, also served to muddy the waters regarding their true allegiances. The Legion's final meetings with their loyalist brothers were marked by cryptic warnings and veiled hints of the impending catastrophe. These interactions, later scrutinized for signs of their true intentions, only added to the confusion surrounding the Alpha Legion's role in the events to come. As the galaxy stood on the brink of civil war, the Alpha Legion found itself in an unprecedented position. With access to information from both sides of the conflict and a mandate that transcended simple notions of loyalty, they prepared to play a game of unparalleled complexity and stakes. Their actions in the coming war would challenge fundamental assumptions about the nature of allegiance and the true meaning of victory. The stage was set for the Alpha Legion to enact a plan centuries in the making, a strategy so intricate that even those executing it could not fully comprehend its scope. As brother turned against brother and the Imperium tore itself apart, the sons of Alpharius and Omegon moved silently through the chaos, their true motives known only to themselves. The Alpha Legion's role in the Horus heresy unfolded like a complex game of regicide, with moves and counter-moves spanning decades and light years. Their involvement began subtly, with operatives sowing discord and manipulating events long before the first shots were fired. As the galaxy erupted into civil war, the Legion's true machinations came into play, though their ultimate goals remained obscure even to their supposed allies. In the early stages of the conflict, the Alpha Legion's actions appeared to support the traitor cause. They engaged in sabotage missions, disrupting loyalist supply lines and communications. However, close examination of these operations reveals a pattern of controlled chaos, with outcomes that often benefited both sides in unpredictable ways. The Battle of Paramar 5 marked a significant moment in the Alpha Legion's heresy campaign. Ostensibly fighting alongside other traitor forces, their tactics focused on information gathering and asset denial rather than outright destruction. This approach allowed them to gain crucial intelligence while limiting the strategic value of the planet to both sides. As the war progressed, the Alpha Legion's methods grew increasingly Byzantine. They orchestrated elaborate false flag operations, at times fighting against fellow traitor legions while disguised as loyalists, and vice versa. This strategy served to confuse and demoralize their opponents while providing cover for their true objectives. The Tenebrae mission exemplified the Legion's penchant for long-term planning. Years before the heresy began, they had seeded operatives throughout this vital Forge world. When the conflict reached Tenebrae, these sleeper agents activated, throwing the planet into disarray. The resulting confusion allowed the Alpha Legion to secure key technologies and data with minimal direct involvement. One of the most audacious Alpha Legion operations during this period was the Alaxes Nebula incident. In a daring maneuver, they lured the Space Wolves Legion into a trap, engaging them in a protracted guerrilla campaign. This not only tied up a significant loyalist force, but also provided the Alpha Legion with invaluable combat data on their opponent's tactics and capabilities. The Legion's infiltration of both loyalist and traitor ranks reached its zenith during the Siege of Terra. Alpha Legion operatives were present on both sides of the conflict, their actions subtly influencing key decisions and engagements. The full extent of their involvement in this pivotal battle remains a subject of intense debate among Imperial historians. Throughout the heresy, the Alpha Legion demonstrated a unique approach to warfare that blended conventional military action with espionage, psychological operations, and strategic misdirection. They pioneered the use of deep cover agents, some of whom had been in place for decades, awaiting activation. These operatives ranged from lowly scribes to high-ranking officers, forming a web of influence that spanned the entire theater of war. The Legion's mastery of information warfare came to the fore during this period. They weaponized data, using carefully crafted misinformation to sow confusion and paranoia among both loyalist and traitor forces. This approach often proved more effective than direct military engagement, allowing the Alpha Legion to shape events with minimal expenditure of resources. As the conflict wore on, reports of Alpha Legion activity became increasingly contradictory. There were instances of the Legion fighting alongside loyalist forces against other traitor legions, followed by operations that directly undermined Imperial positions. This inconsistency was not random but part of a larger, inscrutable strategy. The Tallarn campaign highlighted the Alpha Legion's ability to wage war on multiple levels simultaneously. While engaging in a protracted tank war on the planet's surface, they also conducted a shadow war for control of ancient Necron technology hidden beneath the desert. This operation showcased their ability to pursue hidden agendas while participating in larger, more visible conflicts. In the latter stages of the heresy, the Alpha Legion's focus shifted towards securing assets and information that would prove valuable in the post-war galaxy. They targeted repositories of knowledge, advanced technology, and strategic resources, often leaving the battlefields themselves to other combatants. The Legion's actions during the Horus Heresy defied simple categorization as loyal or traitor. They fought against and alongside both factions at various points, their allegiances shifting like quicksand. This fluidity allowed them to navigate the conflict in a unique manner, pursuing objectives that transcended the immediate concerns of the war. As the heresy drew to its cataclysmic conclusion, the Alpha Legion once again faded into the shadows. Their withdrawal was as carefully orchestrated as their involvement, leaving both sides uncertain of their true role in the conflict. In the aftermath, they left behind a legacy of confusion and speculation that would persist for millennia. The end of the Horus Heresy did not mark the conclusion of the Alpha Legion's plans, but rather the transition to a new phase. As the Imperium and the forces of chaos struggled to recover from the devastating conflict, the sons of Alfarius were already setting in motion schemes that would unfold over the coming centuries. The pivotal moment in the Alpha Legion's convoluted saga came not on a blood-soaked battlefield or in the chambers of mighty starships, but in a clandestine meeting that would alter the course of galactic history. This encounter, shrouded in secrecy and known to only a select few, was with the enigmatic Xenos organization known as the Cabal. In the twilight hours of the Great Crusade, as tensions simmered beneath the surface of the Imperium, Alfarius and Omegon were approached by this ancient group. The Cabal, a collective of alien races united by their prescient abilities and shared goal of combating chaos, presented the Primarch twins with a vision of the future that would shake their convictions to the core. The revelation was as startling as it was paradoxical. The only way to ultimately defeat chaos was to ensure its short-term victory. The Cabal's prophecy outlined two possible futures. In one, the Emperor would triumph over Horus, leading to a stagnant Imperium that would slowly decay, feeding chaos for millennia to come. In the other, Horus would win, his remorse over killing the Emperor causing him to exterminate humanity in a fit of self-loathing, thus starving chaos of its psychic sustenance. This knowledge presented Alfarius and Omegon with an agonizing dilemma. Their choices seemed to be between loyalty to their father and the Imperium, or a betrayal that could potentially save the galaxy from eternal damnation. The weight of this decision was compounded by the secretive nature of the Alpha Legion. They alone bore this burden, unable to share or seek counsel from their brother Primarchs. The twins' response to this revelation became the fulcrum upon which their entire legacy would balance. In a display of strategic brilliance that would become their hallmark, they chose a path that was neither straightforward loyalty nor outright betrayal. Instead, They embarked on a course so complex and long-term that it defied easy categorization. Their decision was to seemingly side with Horus while working towards goals that remained their own. This approach allowed them to position themselves in a way that they could influence events regardless of the outcome. If Horus won, they would be placed to guide his actions. If the Emperor triumphed, their apparent betrayal could serve as a unifying force for the Imperium, strengthening it against future threats. This pivotal choice set in motion a chain of events that would ripple through the millennia. The Alpha Legion's subsequent actions, their sabotage of both loyalist and traitor forces, their accumulation of knowledge and technology, their creation of sleeper cells throughout the galaxy, all stemmed from this singular moment of decision. The ramifications of this choice extended far beyond the immediate conflict of the Horus heresy. It fundamentally altered the Legion's perception of their role in the galaxy. No longer were they simply warriors of the Imperium. They had become self-appointed guardians of humanity's ultimate fate, operating on a scale that transcended conventional notions of loyalty and betrayal. This new paradigm required a complete overhaul of the Legion's structure and methodology. The already secretive Alpha Legion became even more compartmentalized, with individual cells often unaware of the true nature of their missions or how they fit into the larger scheme. This approach ensured that even if parts of the Legion were compromised, the overall plan could continue unabated. The decision also led to a philosophical shift within the Legion. The concept of fluid identity, already a cornerstone of their tactics, took on new significance. If one's actions could be simultaneously loyal and treasonous, depending on the time scale and perspective, then individual identity became almost irrelevant. This thinking gave rise to the Legion's most famous maxim, "I am Alpharius," a phrase that encapsulated their new ethos of collective purpose over individual glory. Perhaps the most profound consequence of this pivotal moment was the schism it created within the Legion itself. While the majority followed the path laid out by their Primarchs, some elements of the Alpha Legion rejected the Cabal's prophecy and the course of action it necessitated. This internal divide, hidden from outside observers, added yet another layer of complexity to the Legion's already inscrutable nature. The reverberations of this decision continued to be felt long after the Horus heresy. In the fragmented Imperium of the 41st millennium, the Alpha Legion's actions often seemed random or contradictory to outside observers. Yet, to those few who understood the true origins of their path, a pattern emerged, a grand strategy playing out across millennia, with each seemingly disparate action forming part of an incomprehensibly vast plan. This moment of choice, made in the shadow of impending galactic civil war, transformed the Alpha Legion from a merely exceptional Space Marine Legion into something altogether more enigmatic and potent. It set them on a path that would see them influencing events on a scale that even their fellow Astartes could scarcely comprehend, playing a long game with the fate of the galaxy as the stakes. The aftermath of the Alpha Legion's intricate machinations during the Horus heresy sent shockwaves through the galaxy, reshaping the political and military landscape in ways that would persist for millennia. Their actions, at once subtle and far-reaching, left an indelible mark on both the Imperium and the forces of chaos, creating a legacy of paranoia, confusion, and hidden influence that continues to shape galactic events. In the immediate wake of the heresy, the Imperium found itself grappling with the consequences of the Alpha Legion's apparent betrayal. The revelation that one of the Emperor's own sons had turned traitor, coupled with the Legion's reputation for subterfuge, sparked a crisis of trust within Imperial ranks. This atmosphere of suspicion proved fertile ground for the Alpha Legion's continued operations, as accusations of infiltration and sabotage became commonplace, often serving to mask their true activities. The Legion's influence extended far beyond mere military concerns. Their carefully placed operatives, some of whom had risen to positions of significant authority during the turmoil of the heresy, now found themselves ideally situated to shape Imperial policy. Through these agents, the Alpha Legion exerted a subtle but profound influence on the rebuilding of the Imperium, steering events in directions that aligned with their inscrutable long-term goals. One of the most significant consequences of the Alpha Legion's actions was the reorganization of Imperial intelligence and counterintelligence services. The perceived threat of Alpha Legion infiltration led to the creation of new security protocols and the strengthening of organizations like the Inquisition. Ironically, these very measures often played into the Legion's hands, creating an environment of paranoia that they could exploit to further their aims. The Alpha Legion's impact on the forces of chaos was equally profound. Their ambiguous status as traitors who might not be entirely traitorous sowed discord among the followers of the Dark Gods. This uncertainty about the Legion's true allegiance created a web of mistrust that hampered cooperation between Chaos warbands and legions, indirectly aiding the Imperium in countless hidden ways. In the centuries following the heresy, reports of Alpha Legion activity became increasingly enigmatic. Their operations often seemed to work at cross purposes, simultaneously undermining and supporting both Imperial and Chaos efforts. This apparent contradiction served a dual purpose. It kept their enemies off balance and provided cover for their true objectives, which remained hidden from all but the highest echelons of the Legion's command structure. The Legion's mastery of misinformation came to full fruition in this period. They seeded conflicting narratives about their motivations and allegiances throughout both Imperial and Chaos space. These stories, ranging from tales of redemption to accounts of utter corruption, created a smokescreen behind which the Alpha Legion could operate with relative impunity. One of the most far-reaching consequences of the Alpha Legion's actions was the acceleration of technological development within certain sectors of the Imperium. Through carefully orchestrated leaks of advanced technology and selective preservation of scientific knowledge, they fostered pockets of innovation that would prove crucial in the Imperium's ongoing struggle for survival. The Legion's influence on Imperial military doctrine was similarly subtle but significant. Their tactics during the heresy, particularly their use of infiltration and psychological warfare, were studied and, to some extent, adopted by Imperial strategists. This shift in approach, while not always acknowledged, played a crucial role in shaping the Imperium's response to future threats. Perhaps the most profound long-term consequence of the Alpha Legion's actions was the creation of a hidden network of worlds and organizations that existed in the gray areas between Imperial and Chaos control. These shadow realms, neither fully loyal nor truly renegade, served as bases of operation and sources of intelligence for the Legion's ongoing plans. The Alpha Legion's impact on the psyche of the Imperium cannot be overstated. The constant threat of infiltration and the Legion's reputation for labyrinthine plots created a culture of vigilance that bordered on paranoia. While this heightened state of alert undoubtedly foiled many genuine threats to Imperial security, it also consumed vast resources and often hindered legitimate operations. In the realm of galactic politics, the Alpha Legion's legacy manifested in unexpected ways. Their actions during and after the heresy had demonstrated the vulnerability of even the most monolithic power structures. This lesson was not lost on ambitious individuals within the Imperium, leading to a more fractious and competitive political landscape that persists to the present day. The Legion's influence extended even to the development of Imperial cult and doctrine. The questions raised by their apparent betrayal and subsequent ambiguous actions led to intense theological debates within the ecclesiarchy. These discussions shaped the evolution of Imperial faith, particularly in regards to concepts of loyalty, redemption, and the nature of chaos. As millennia passed, the true extent of the Alpha Legion's impact became increasingly difficult to discern. Their talent for obfuscation and long-term planning meant that many of their most significant achievements remained hidden, their influence felt, but never fully understood. This invisible legacy continues to shape the course of galactic events, a hidden current beneath the turbulent surface of the 41st millennium. The Alpha Legion's distinctive approach to warfare and subterfuge is rooted in a unique blend of advanced technology and innovative tactics. Their methods, honed over millennia of covert operations, represent a departure from conventional space marine strategies, emphasizing adaptability, misdirection, and long-term planning over brute force. At the core of the Alpha Legion's technological arsenal lies their mastery of hololithic technology. These advanced projection systems allow Legionnaires to alter their appearance at will, facilitating infiltration and sowing confusion among enemy ranks. The technology extends beyond mere visual trickery. It includes sophisticated voice modulators and even limited tactile mimicry, enabling operatives to pass rigorous biometric scans. Complementing their hololithic gear, the Legion employs cutting-edge stealth technology. Their power armor incorporates adaptive camouflage systems that can render a warrior nearly invisible to both visual and auspex detection. This technology, combined with noise suppression fields, allows Alpha Legion strike teams to penetrate even the most heavily guarded facilities undetected. The Legion's approach to weaponry favors versatility and precision over raw destructive power. They are known for their use of modular weapon systems that can be rapidly reconfigured in the field. A single firearm might function as a sniper rifle, assault weapon, or grenade launcher depending on the mission parameters. This adaptability extends to their melee weapons, with power swords that can shift form to become whips or spears as the tactical situation demands. Information warfare forms a crucial component of Alpha Legion operations. They employ an array of data slicing tools and cogitator viruses capable of penetrating even the most secure networks. These digital weapons are often deployed in conjunction with physical attacks, crippling enemy communications and logistics before the first shot is fired. The Legion's expertise in genetic manipulation and cloning technology sets them apart from their peers. They have perfected techniques for creating near-perfect replicas of individuals, which are then used for deep cover infiltration missions. These clones, augmented with implanted memories and behavioral conditioning, can seamlessly replace key figures in enemy organizations. In terms of tactics, the Alpha Legion favors a multi-layered approach that combines conventional military action with subterfuge and psychological warfare. Their operations often begin months or even years before the main engagement, with sleeper agents and saboteurs laying the groundwork for future conflicts. The Legion's battlefield tactics emphasize flexibility and unpredictability. They are masters of the false flag operation, often fighting in the guise of other Space Marine chapters or even Xenos races. This approach not only confuses the enemy, but also sows discord among their allies, creating opportunities that the Alpha Legion is quick to exploit. Asymmetrical warfare is a hallmark of Alpha Legion's strategy. They excel at turning an enemy's strengths against them, using superior numbers and firepower as vectors for misinformation and misdirection. A typical Alpha Legion campaign might involve luring an enemy force into a trap by presenting an irresistible target, only to strike at their true objective elsewhere. The Legion's command structure is as fluid as their tactics. Leadership roles shift constantly, with different operatives taking charge based on their expertise in a given situation. This decentralized approach allows for rapid decision-making and makes it nearly impossible for enemies to disrupt their command hierarchy. Psychological operations play a crucial role in Alpha Legion tactics. They are adept at manipulating enemy morale through carefully crafted disinformation campaigns. These efforts often extend beyond the battlefield, targeting civilian populations and political structures to create an environment conducive to their long-term goals. The Alpha Legion's approach to recruitment and training is shrouded in mystery, but is known to be rigorous and unconventional. Aspirants are subjected to complex simulations and mind-altering procedures designed to test their adaptability and capacity for deception. The line between reality and fabrication is deliberately blurred, producing warriors who are comfortable operating in a world of shifting truths. Their use of human operatives is a key component of Alpha Legion's strategy. These agents, ranging from unwitting pawns to fully aware collaborators, form a vast network that extends throughout Imperial space and beyond. This human intelligence network provides the Legion with unparalleled situational awareness and the ability to influence events on a galactic scale. The Legion's fleet operations reflect their overall tactical philosophy. Their ships are equipped with advanced stealth systems and holographic projectors, allowing them to approach targets undetected or disguised as friendly vessels. The Alpha Legion favors hit-and-run attacks and complex feints over pitched space battles, using their fleet's mobility to keep enemies off balance. In siege warfare, the Alpha Legion excels at undermining defenses from within. They often infiltrate a target long before the main assault, sabotaging key systems and sowing dissent among the defenders. When the attack comes, it often appears to come from multiple directions simultaneously, with the defenders unsure which threats are real and which are elaborate deceptions. The cumulative effect of these technologies and tactics is a fighting force of unparalleled subtlety and effectiveness. The Alpha Legion's ability to shape conflicts from the shadows, often without their involvement ever being detected, has made them one of the most feared and respected military forces in the galaxy. Their methods, while often viewed with suspicion by more conventional warriors, have proven devastatingly effective against both the enemies of the Imperium and the Imperium itself. At the forefront of the Alpha Legion's cryptic saga stand figures shrouded in mystery, their very existence a subject of debate among Imperial scholars and Chaos warbands alike. These individuals, whether heroes or villains, have shaped the Legion's path through the millennia, their actions echoing across the galaxy. Alpharius and Omegon, the twin Primarchs, remain the most enigmatic figures in the Legion's history. Their unique duality formed the cornerstone of the Alpha Legion's identity and tactics. Alpharius, the public face of the Legion, was known for his strategic brilliance and adaptability. Omegon, operating in the shadows, orchestrated the Legion's most clandestine operations. The reported death of Alpharius at the hands of Rogel Dorn during the Horus Heresy only deepened the mystery surrounding the twins, with many questioning whether it was truly Alpharius who fell, or if either Primarch still lives. The operative known as Fokron gained notoriety for a series of high-profile infiltrations that destabilized multiple sectors. Whether Fokron is an individual or a code name used by multiple agents remains unknown, adding to the operative's mystique. Fokron's most famous exploit involved impersonating an Inquisitor for over a decade, using the position to redirect Imperial forces and resources to serve the Legion's inscrutable goals. The Voice emerged as a pivotal figure in the post-heresy era, serving as the primary conduit between the Legion's command structure and its vast network of sleeper agents. This individual's true identity remains a closely guarded secret, with some theorizing that the Voice might be an AI construct, or even one of the Primarchs in disguise. The Voice's ability to coordinate complex operations across vast distances has baffled Imperial intelligence for millennia. Arcos the Faithless, a Chaos Lord of the Alpha Legion, gained infamy for his campaigns against the Imperium in the Segmentum Obscurus. His mastery of deception and asymmetrical warfare allowed him to control entire star systems with minimal resources. Arcos's true allegiance, however, remains a point of contention, with some evidence suggesting his actions ultimately served to strengthen Imperial defenses against greater Chaos incursions. The enigmatic figure known as Cypher has long been associated with the Alpha Legion, despite his apparent connections to the fallen Dark Angels. His appearances throughout Imperial history, often at pivotal moments, have led some to speculate that he may be an Alpha Legion operative of the highest order, using the Dark Angels myth as cover for more complex machinations. Inquisitor Kraven, initially a staunch opponent of the Alpha Legion, became one of the most intriguing figures in their ongoing narrative. His obsessive pursuit of the Legion led him down a path of paranoia and revelation, culminating in his mysterious disappearance. Rumors persist that Kraven may have been an unwitting Alpha Legion agent all along, his investigations serving to misdirect Imperial resources. The tech priest Magos Explorator Archon Land, famous for his rediscovery of STC templates, has been linked to Alpha Legion activities. Some records suggest Land's expeditions were guided by covert Alpha Legion intelligence, leading to the recovery of technologies that served the Legion's long-term strategies. The extent of Land's knowledge or complicity in these schemes remains a topic of heated debate within the Adeptus Mechanicus. Farseer Elaric of Craftworld Ulthwé stands out as a unique figure in the Alpha Legion's story. Her centuries-long effort to unravel the Legion's future actions led to a complex relationship between the Eldar Seer and the Sons of Alpharius. The prophetic duels between Elaric and the Legion strategists have shaped events across multiple sectors, with each side seeking to outmaneuver the other in a game of galactic chess. The Space Marine chapter master, known as Mercenal, gained renown for his successful campaigns against Alpha Legion incursions. However, his methods and insights into Legion tactics raised suspicions about his own loyalties. The controversy surrounding Mercenal highlights the paranoia that the Alpha Legion's existence engenders, even among the Imperium's most trusted servants. Within the Legion itself, the Harrowmaster caste represents a unique breed of leaders. These individuals, each adopting the persona of Alpharius, direct the Legion's cells with near autonomy. The most famous among them, known only as the Shadowed Hand, orchestrated a campaign that brought 3 sectors to the brink of civil war without firing a single shot, demonstrating the Legion's mastery of social manipulation. The human operative codenamed Janus infiltrated the highest echelons of the Adeptus Administratum, subtly altering tithe records and resource allocations over centuries. Janus's actions, only discovered long after their execution, had far-reaching consequences on Imperial logistics and military readiness across multiple segmentums. The Chaos Sorcerer Sindri Mir, though not officially part of the Alpha Legion, collaborated with them on numerous occasions. His mastery of warpcraft complemented the Legion's strategic acumen, resulting in operations that blended sorcery and subterfuge to devastating effect. Sindri's ultimate fate remains unknown, with some believing he ascended to demonhood, while others claim he was a Legion construct all along. These figures, whether loyal sons of the Emperor, dedicated servants of chaos, or something altogether different, embody the complexity and ambiguity that define the Alpha Legion. Their stories, filled with contradictions and unanswered questions, continue to fuel speculation and debate. In the grand tapestry of the Legion's history, these individuals stand out as vibrant threads, their true nature and motivations as elusive as the Legion itself. The Alpha Legion's labyrinthine history is rife with enigmas that continue to baffle Imperial scholars, Inquisitors, and even their fellow Chaos Space Marines. These mysteries, ranging from metaphysical conundrums to strategic puzzles, form the core of the Legion's mystique and continue to shape galactic events in unseen ways. Foremost among these riddles is the true fate of Alpharius and Omegon. While Imperial records claim Alpharius fell in battle against Rogel Dorn, doubt lingers. The Legion's ethos of I am Alpharius muddies the waters further, raising questions about whether the slain Primarch was truly Alpharius Omegon or perhaps a skilled impersonator. The possibility that one or both Primarchs still live, guiding their Legion from the shadows, remains a source of constant speculation and concern for Imperial forces. The Legion's ultimate allegiance presents another profound mystery. Their actions during the Horus Heresy and subsequent millennia defy simple categorization as loyal or traitor. Some theorize that the Alpha Legion operates on a moral plane beyond conventional notions of allegiance, pursuing goals so long-term and complex that they appear contradictory to outside observers. Others posit that the Legion itself is divided, with factions working towards opposing ends in a grand internal struggle. The extent of Alpha Legion infiltration within the Imperium remains an open question that paranoia throughout Imperial institutions. The discovery of deep cover agents in positions of significant power has led to widespread suspicion and multiple purges. Yet, the true scope of this infiltration remains unknown, with some fearing that entire sectors may be unwittingly under Legion control. The Legion's connection to the enigmatic organization known as the Cabal continues to perplex scholars. The nature of the information provided by this Xenos group and how it has shaped Alpha Legion's strategy over the millennia remains a topic of fierce debate. Some suggest that the Legion's apparent betrayal during the heresy was part of a larger plan to combat chaos, while others believe the Cabal itself may have been an Alpha Legion fabrication. The technological prowess displayed by the Alpha Legion raises questions about the source of their advanced equipment. Their mastery of hololithic technology and genetic manipulation seems to surpass that of other traitor legions and even rivals some of the Imperium's most closely guarded secrets. Theories range from hidden STCs to clandestine pacts with Xenos races, each possibility carrying dire implications for Imperial security. The Legion's possible connections to other enigmatic figures in the Warhammer 40,000 universe fuel endless speculation. Their suspected links to entities like Cypher of the Fallen Angels and the mysterious Janus of the Grey Knights hint at a web of influence far more extensive than previously imagined. These connections, if proven, could rewrite understanding of key events in Imperial history. The true purpose behind many of the Legion's most infamous campaigns remains shrouded in mystery. Operations that seemed catastrophic for the Imperium at the time have, in some cases, yielded long-term benefits that only became apparent centuries later. This pattern has led some Inquisitors to propose that the Alpha Legion may be playing a game so complex that even apparent defeats serve some greater, inscrutable purpose. The Legion's relationship with the Warp and the Chaos Gods presents another enigma. Unlike other traitor legions, the Alpha Legion shows no clear allegiance to any particular Chaos deity. Some speculate that they have found a way to use Chaos without being corrupted by it, while others believe their apparent resistance to Chaos influence is itself an elaborate deception. The method by which the Alpha Legion maintains coherence and purpose across vast distances of space and time without apparent centralized leadership continues to confound Imperial tacticians. The ability of disparate cells to coordinate actions towards common goals, often without direct communication, suggests a level of strategic foresight and planning that borders on precognition. The Legion's possible role in shaping Imperial doctrine and policy through subtle manipulation poses disturbing questions about the autonomy of Imperial decision-making. Instances where Alpha Legion actions have inadvertently, or perhaps intentionally, strengthened the Imperium's position have led some to wonder if the Legion operates as a hidden guardian, steering humanity from the shadows. The existence of rumored Alpha Legion untouched worlds, planets entirely under Legion control, but maintained in a state of ignorance about the wider galaxy, raises ethical and strategic questions. The purpose of these worlds, whether as recruiting grounds, experimental societies, or something more sinister, remains unknown. The Legion's apparent ability to operate seamlessly within both Imperial and Chaos territories suggests a deeper understanding of the nature of reality in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Some esoteric scholars propose that the Alpha Legion has unlocked fundamental truths about the relationship between real space and the Warp, allowing them to transcend traditional factional boundaries. The question of succession within the Legion, given the uncertainty surrounding its Primarchs, remains a puzzle. The fluid nature of Legion command and the interchangeability of its members make traditional notions of leadership hierarchy obsolete, leaving outsiders to wonder how strategic objectives are set and maintained across millennia. These enigmas, each complex enough to occupy the minds of Imperial scholars for lifetimes, intertwine to form the grand mystery that is the Alpha Legion. As each question begets more, the true nature of the 20th Legion remains as elusive as ever, their actions and motivations a riddle that may never be fully unraveled. In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, the Alpha Legion's shadow looms large over the galaxy, their influence felt in ways both subtle and profound. The long-term consequences of their actions continue to ripple through the Imperium, Chaos forces, and beyond, shaping the course of galactic events in ways that may never be fully understood. The Imperium of Man, forever changed by the Alpha Legion's machinations, has evolved into a paradoxical entity. Heightened vigilance against potential infiltration has led to increased security measures, Yet this very paranoia often plays into the Legion's hands, creating an atmosphere of distrust that undermines the cohesion of Imperial forces. The constant threat of Alpha Legion sleeper agents has fostered a culture of suspicion that permeates every level of Imperial society, from lowly hive workers to the highest echelons of the Adeptus Terra. This climate of fear has had unforeseen effects on Imperial technological development. The need for ever more sophisticated detection and counter-infiltration measures has spurred advancements in certain fields, particularly in the areas of cogitator security and biometric identification. Paradoxically, this progress occurs against a backdrop of general technological stagnation, as the fear of innovation being corrupted or co-opted by Legion agents stifles broader scientific endeavors. The Alpha Legion's legacy has profoundly impacted the strategies employed by Imperial military forces. Lessons learned from centuries of clashes with the Legion have been incorporated into Imperial tactical doctrine, emphasizing flexibility, information security, and the importance of counterintelligence. Yet, this adaptation comes at a cost, as resources are increasingly diverted to combat a threat that may be more perceived than real in many instances. In the realm of Imperial politics, the Alpha Legion's influence manifests in a complex web of alliances and rivalries. The constant threat of infiltration has led to a system where trust is a rare commodity, with political maneuvering often taking precedence over effective governance. This fragmentation of Imperial power structures, while ostensibly a weakness, may ironically serve as a safeguard against large-scale Alpha Legion manipulation, as the decentralized nature of authority makes it difficult for any single compromised individual to wield too much influence. The Inquisition, in particular, bears the marks of prolonged exposure to Alpha Legion tactics. The organization has become increasingly labyrinthine, with competing factions and hidden agendas mirroring the very enemy they seek to combat. This evolution, while potentially compromising the Inquisition's effectiveness in some areas, has also created a formidable bulwark against large-scale infiltration, as the organization's own internal divisions and secrecy serve as a defense mechanism. Beyond the Imperium, the Alpha Legion's actions continue to reverberate through the ranks of Chaos forces. Their ambiguous status and inscrutable goals have sown discord among the followers of the Dark Gods, creating an environment where alliances are fleeting and betrayal is expected. This disunity among Chaos forces has, in many instances, worked to the Imperium's advantage, though whether this is by design or mere happenstance remains a matter of fierce debate. The Legion's influence extends even to Xenos races, with evidence suggesting their involvement in manipulating conflicts between various alien civilizations. These interventions, often so subtle as to go unnoticed by the participants, have shaped the balance of power in numerous sectors, indirectly influencing the course of Imperial expansion and retreat. In the esoteric realm of warp lore and psychic phenomena, the Alpha Legion's legacy is particularly profound. Their apparent ability to operate in both real space and the immaterium with equal facility has led to new theories about the nature of reality in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Scholars and sorcerers alike ponder the implications of the Legion's methods, seeking to unravel the secrets of their supposed mastery over the fundamental forces of the galaxy. The long-term genetic legacy of the Alpha Legion poses intriguing questions for the future of humanity. Their extensive use of cloning and genetic manipulation techniques may have introduced subtle alterations to the human genome in ways that are only beginning to manifest. Some xenobiologists speculate that these changes could represent a new stage in human evolution, guided by the unseen hand of Legion planners. As the millennia progress, the distinction between the Alpha Legion's actual influence and the myths that have grown around them becomes increasingly blurred. Their very name has become a byword for conspiracy and hidden manipulation, invoked by everyone from Hive gang members to planetary governors to explain away inexplicable events. This mythic status serves as a force multiplier, allowing the Legion to achieve its goals through reputation alone in many instances. The philosophical implications of the Alpha Legion's continued existence and activities pose challenging questions for Imperial theologians and scholars. Their ability to operate beyond traditional moral boundaries challenges fundamental Imperial doctrines about the nature of loyalty, duty, and the eternal struggle against chaos. Some radical thinkers even propose that the Legion's actions represent a third path in this cosmic conflict, though such ideas are quickly suppressed by Imperial authorities. As the galaxy hurtles towards an uncertain future, the Alpha Legion remains a wild card in the great game of power. Their potential to tip the balance in the ongoing conflicts that ravage the Imperium is immense, yet their ultimate goals remain as inscrutable as ever. Whether they will prove to be humanity's hidden saviors, its ultimate destroyers, or something altogether beyond current understanding, only time will tell. In the end, the true legacy of the Alpha Legion may lie not in the grand battles or cosmic conspiracies, but in the fundamental questions they force humanity to confront about its nature, its purpose, and its place in a universe of unimaginable complexity and danger. As the shadows deepen and the lines between friend and foe blur, the sons of Alpharius continue their enigmatic work, their actions echoing across time and space, shaping the destiny of a galaxy that may never truly comprehend the forces at work behind the scenes.